co-host is known for many things, but today they are known for recommending subpar movies. It's Jen Mounts.
No, I don't accept your intro. I can't believe we're already getting into the plot or not this early. I'm going to be in a terrible mood for 2 hours until we can come back to this segment. How dare you?
Listen, if we're going to be stuck for 2 hours, I might as well go ahead and ruin the experience for both of us, as you wasted 2 hours of my time with that movie.
Well, first of all, it came out in 1992, so I know it was only a runtime of 90 minutes. And secondly, joining me is freaking Nick DeShera, a man who lost 6 darts matches in one weekend. He blamed the darts bracket format, whatever, blamed the alcohol. But the good thing about being fresh off a perfect 0-6 tournament run is you've proven once and for all, Nick, that consistency is your best attribute. So welcome to the show.
And I've also made it for 3 episodes of Pointed Questions, only one of which I was on time for. And we have a great episode lined up for you here today, as we're going to talk a little bit about my April Fool's joke that I went and pulled on Mr. Will Stewart. We're going to go ahead and go over to the produce report once again and cover things like the WDF move to Las Vegas. And on top of that, some Luke Littler drama. Jen will take us right into our brand new segment of What in the Will, our favorite game of true or false on statements that Will Stewart may or may not have said. And then we'll give a recap on Plot or Not and my review of the Sister Act, and then the pointed question of the day. Hold it in, Jen. What you need to know about Dart Barrel sponsorships and everything pertaining to it. Jen, we've somehow made it for 3 straight episodes. I am proud of us.
I am too. It becomes easier and easier, although I'm definitely contemplating replacing you with Tommy at this point, because you have offended me. Without me hearing your assessment of Sister Act, I'm serious. I'm in a terrible mood now, but let's go on and recap. I am proud of you, though, I will say, of how many barrels you actually sold during this April Fool's joke, where all you did was change the name of Will Stewart's dart to yours. And then your amazing serious review of it on YouTube was incredible. You hit 2 180s. What was that? White Horse, but the Midwest
the
version
Wichita
called?
White Horse?
Wichita White Horse. So, Nick, you were pretty bold in saying that if you sold 20 darts, you would do a 24-hour live stream for charity. So I want to know, what are your plans for the content of said live stream? Have you picked a partner of who you're going to work with for the charity?
So I got to say, I'm annoyed at the darts community because they bought exactly 20 sets of darts. By the way, they were like, no more, no less. We're just getting this one stream. That's all the incentives we need. You know, the biggest what if will always be, what if there was more soft tip in stock? Because I feel like we had a couple other people waiting to buy. But before the charity live stream, I got to apologize, because at least 10 of those 20 barrels were people legitimately thinking they were my darts. And my grandpa, who does not play darts, sent me a picture and asked why they were incomplete when they showed up as barrels only, and claimed false advertisements. And he didn't even know I scammed him. So, to everybody that bought the barrels, that postcard is on my dad's fridge, and it can go on yours too. Okay, there is 30 leftover postcards that I'm going to have to figure out what to do with.
Nick, I have to interrupt you, because on the opposite end of that spectrum, there was also people days later, past April Fool's Day, they were like, can you still call it the Nick DeShera barrel so I can buy it? And I'm like, what? You know the joke.
No way.
You know it's just Will's. Yes, there was a lady that was super upset that she didn't get a postcard of yours. And so we had to write, this was days later. Yes. And we had to write back being like, okay, we'll post you a postcard ASAP. Sorry. Jeez.
My fans will always, did they get a Will Stewart postcard instead? Because that's offensive if they were expecting me and they saw Will and then they had to send a customer support email.
Yeah, legitimately, they went through the proper channels of going to info@a2zdarts.com and sent a customer service message asking, WTF, guys, where's my Nick DeShera stuff? It's like April 4th. What are you talking about, lady?
My fans stay true. If any of you guys bought those barrels, I mean, seriously, that was awesome. Will, I'm surprised wasn't more upset by what took place. 20 sets is a lot of darts. You might hear that number, and if you don't know, we'll talk about more barrel sponsorships later. That's a lot to sell in a single day, especially if you're not named the bull hitters. So I was pretty proud of that. And when I said the 24-hour charity live stream, I had no clue that I would actually be doing it. Not a single clue.
I mean, you were very arrogant that you would sell like 30 sets. So you did well. I mean, I am impressed, but
would have
because
if we
you
had
doubled
soft tips in
down.
stock.
You know what? I'll give you that. I think it would have been close. Maybe something like 27, 28 if we had more soft tip in stock. But you had said if we sold, what was it, 10 more steel tip, you'll run a half marathon.
Yeah.
And I looked
did say
at all
that.
my coworkers. Immediately, I was like, guys, he doesn't know how far a half marathon. He doesn't
13
know.
miles.
He should have said, no, but you don't know how far, what it feels like to run that far. Because you start with a 5K if you're not a runner.
Yeah.
And like everyone was immediately like, yeah, he overcommitted on that one. But it's okay because you didn't make the sales.
I want you to know I will commit to any bit. Okay.
I know you will. I was scared for you. I know. You're like ride or die.
I've done 10 miles in a day. I've done 10 miles of like walking in a day. Like, what's 13 miles of moving a little bit faster? It's not that hard. Like,
You've done a 10-mile walk in one day?
Yeah. When I was in the restaurant industry, I would easily track like 8 to 10 miles.
Ah, okay.
No, it's been a bit. It's been a while. That was like 5 years ago, but that's besides the point.
I would have paid for you to have a running coach leading up to it if you did have to commit to it. Oh yeah. Because then it would have been hilarious, and you would have had to film the like training, like. Well, I don't know why I put that in quotations, but you would have been training for this half marathon.
How many people have to subscribe to the podcast here for me to run a half marathon with Jen and give me a coach?
Okay, let's set a metric. If one of our podcasts hits 5,000 views, 200 likes? I think likes are a little too easy because then they're not like watching. I don't know. Because you could get some spam likes real quick.
How about this? We'll make a special video coming out soon, and we'll make sure that you guys know which video it is. That's the video you guys have to like for me to do a half marathon.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I have yet to sit on a cake, by the way, because I put it out there. I needed 10K subs on YouTube, and like there was like 1,000 immediately day one, and then I just forgot to keep promoting the idea, so I didn't come close.
Forgot. She's baiting you guys. Do you understand? Jen's never like even wanted to sit on a cake in her entire career. This is a facade. Definitely not some weird thing that she's been actually pushing for years. Okay.
No, but Nick, you don't understand how many times I've said in a professional setting that idea needs to be better than me just sitting on a cake for views. This is what I say to my team. I'm like, if you're going to market something, if you're going to put in time, it needs to be more well thought out and educational and impactful to the viewer than me just sitting on a cake. Because I swear to God, if I just sat on a cake, that would develop traction and PR like towards our band. So that's been my thinking like this whole time.
I'm picturing you and Tommy and Heather at the A to Z warehouse sitting down, brainstorming content, and you guys like, guys, we need something better than me sitting on a cake. And then Tommy just going in his like nice, quiet, monotone voice. Why don't you sit on 2 cakes? I can see it. I can see this right now.
No, don't sleep on Tommy. He has like a lot of the funny, quirky ideas that set the tone of an entire theme came from him. For example, when we did top 10 darts of the year, I explained exactly what I wanted to do. And then he was like, what if it was an awards show? What if it was like the Golden Globes? So that entire thing came from his little brain. And we just developed a whole new segment that we built an entire set around. We went to Goodwill's, 5 or 6 Goodwills to like gather supplies and built a set. And a brand new segment will be coming out soon. And that was, I wanted to do like an homage to Blue's Clues. And he immediately like came up with, or actually, I'm sorry, I wanted to do something particular. And then he was like, what if it was like Blue's Clues and it was like a kid's show? And like, it's a paradox because we're basically just reading crazy mean comments, but in a kid's show fashion.
Can you just also remind yourself of who you're talking to here? You said don't sleep on Tommy, as if I have never sung nothing but his praises. Tommy, guys,
I
if you
haven't
guys don't know
seen
who
you.
Tommy is, he is a side character. He is a goofball,
Yeah.
and he is an editor at A to Z Darts. And I've been bringing him up in videos for like years. Okay.
Tommy is our new video editor that we hired full time to work with Magic Darts Inc. So that's A to Z Darts and USA Darts, and he hit his year mark last November. So he's been with us for a minute, and he's been, in the background of a couple of videos. So we're working on Tommy's 2 minutes, is what we're going to call a new segment in
I was
the
on the phone with
future.
him today, and he was like, "I'm gonna be honest. I'm not nervous about most things except that." And
No way.
he's like feeling the pressure. He's like, "Well, you built this up. Like, I have to execute Tommy's 2 minutes. I have to give the best 2-minute presentation of my life." And for all you fans, that's the kind of person Tommy is.
He has an incredible breakup story that is almost exactly 2 minutes, and I told him, like, he was just chatting to me one day, like, being a Debbie Downer. No, I'm kidding. But no, he was telling this really sad story about a breakup, and I was like, dude, that's a perfect Tommy's 2 minutes segment right there, like, right off the dome.
Oh,
Don't even need a slideshow or anything.
I can do a whole segment of bad dates and weird breakups I've been through. Don't worry.
Ooh, bad first dates. I would love to have, like, a showdown with you. Like, that would be a fun segment
Mm.
for the future.
Well, speaking of, we do have the 24-hour live stream that circle back, right? So I want to
Yes.
tell people, because a couple people asked me, they're like, "You're really going to throw darts for 20 hours straight?" No, not a chance. That sounds miserable. But it's going to be 24 hours where each hour will have a different segment, a goal, or something else in mind, where there's going to be live donations the whole time. I have not officially partnered with any charity yet, so I'm going to hold out a little bit, but you guys will be seeing more information. This will be happening sometime in June, more than likely as well. So after we get through the whole NBA Team Dart Chicago Finals craziness, June's a little bit more open in that regard. Because let's be honest, normally June, July, Jen, we're like chilling. No, we got events in July now. June has a couple of events popping up. It's no
Tell
rest
me
for
about
the
it.
wicked.
Darts is incredibly seasonal, except for somehow on the business end of it, we got like super busy in the summer all of a sudden. So like dart supplies certainly sells far less, but weirdly jerseys are like the opposite because we can do other sports with jerseys, and then USA Darts for some reason, like, man, like we are jam packed in July. So I've considered doing the live stream with you. It will just come down to it. Does A to Z have the staff and capacity to like fly Nick to California and do a really proper 24-hour stream, which would be so fun, and we could like fly other people in.
Cameras back here. Look at how proper this all. There's pictures of a dartboard and darts.
I just mean with a whole staff of people helping you and making it like it's super planned, and there's like a bunch of like surprise like segments and things. But I absolutely believe you can pull off a very entertaining show. So if not darts the entire time, like what are you most excited to kind of dive into during this 24-hour stream?
Well, what's really cool is a handful of people have already volunteered. Hey, I'll show up. Just tell me what day it is. I'll help out. I'll be on for a few hours. So Porky lives only an hour and a half. My friend Nikki Henshaw has reached out. A couple of other friends I talked about doing remote segments with, like including like doing like a Darts Jeopardy type segment where we get a couple of different personalities. I know Jason Watt has been begging to be on this podcast. Sorry, not fruity enough, but you can be on my charity live stream if you want. All right.
You could be our beard, our literal beard.
Our
Jason
bearded
Watt, the beard.
Dark guy?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
All right, never
See,
mind. He's in on the
what are you saying? He's not
podcast.
fruity enough. He's
Bearded
exactly
dark guy.
fruity enough.
Incredible work, Jim. This is why they pay you the big bucks. There's going to be a portion where we actually go through and play video games that feature darts in them. Maybe a watch along of some darts movies or documentaries, some live interview segments from different figures in the sport, including when we get to late night for us. That's early morning in the UK. So linking up with a couple of personalities out there. The idea is that this is going to be a full top to bottom insane thing. I'm even debating like having like a relief crew that like while I nap in the background type of vibe. We're gonna see how this goes, but the idea is I really want to make this a spectacle that can truly have an opportunity to raise a lot of money for charity, especially because, just for the record, not that anybody asked, I didn't get any money for selling those dart barrels. So this wasn't like I earned money and now I feel bad. Hold
on. Whoa. You have And is it Uber Eats? You have an Uber Eats debt to hear that those dart sales contributed towards. So I don't want to hear it, Nick. All
Made a
right.
massive dent, if
Yeah, A
anything,
to Z
right?
didn't give you
Massive.
shit. What? Sorry, what'd you say?
No, it made a massive dent. I'm making progress here. Oh, well, on that note, from one piece of drama to another, Jen, it's time for the produce report, and we got some juicy stuff. Something that popped up about a month ago now, almost. A lot of people were really antsy about it. The WDF moving the World Masters to Las Vegas and moving it way up in the calendar from October all the way up to July. What are your thoughts on that as someone that's been to Budapest for this event?
Oh my gosh. There are so many points that I feel like nobody focused on when the news broke. So there's always immediate shock, right? You've got the only 10% participation American in Budapest last year. You can look at Dark Connect and look at registration and numbers. So it's really cool that all that data is just there for you to kind of absorb. So immediately moving the World Masters, which was always leaned heavily European, to Las Vegas is one of the biggest growth opportunities for North America in quite some time on the steel tip side. So we opened the door for growth here. But what people really need to remember is not just this exclusive club where it's the Masters that you have to qualify for. That's just one event. There are tons of events surrounding it. I was playing darts. I was in Budapest for like 2 weeks, like playing darts, and albeit the Masters was the most fun event. You get to do a proper round robin and just the prestige of it and everything, yes, is very cool. Oh my gosh, ladies, gentlemen, if you went to the Las Vegas Open already, if you're just a normal steel tip player or even just a soft tip fan of some of the best Europeans that will be coming over stateside this time around, why wouldn't you go to Vegas and play in the other events surrounding it? So you can check if you're qualified immediately. I'm going to make a ton of content surrounding this because I think it's just one of those things, Nick, where like there's a lot of fear of the unknown and people don't understand how it works. And there's a lot of focus on what are the negatives of it, like shifting in the calendar year, not really having a ton of time. But it's Vegas, it's the Rio. You can book a flight a month leading up to the event. Let's be real. I can drive there in 9 hours. Like, I'm so excited. So, A, big growth opportunity. B, my thoughts are selfishly, this is a huge work opportunity for USA Darts. We get to broadcast a legitimate world class event potentially for the full 3-year contract that they have with the Rio. I mean, this is amazing. We're going to be busting our butts developing a crew. So that means, unfortunately, I won't be playing in it, even though my qualification bleeded over from last year, which I kind of forgot that that was going to be a thing. I was like, oh, I could have played in it again. um, anyway, I won't be playing, but I'll be there and I'll be working the events. And finally, you're putting the event in one of the most recognizable event cities on the planet. So it's just really exciting to develop content around and introduce spectators who might be just interested in Vegas and that kind of lifestyle, that you can kind of convert over top down marketing into darts. So you know me. I feel like my purpose in the darts world is to fixate on what's positive about things, try to help people get through the uncomfy changes. I tried to do that when WDF rules changed for the Las Vegas Open. I did all of that for free. That was on my own time. I think I spent like 16 hours from start to finish developing material around what does having a dedicated marker like look like. How do you avoid getting fines and getting bans? Like, it's really strict. So it's serious. I would say my final thoughts are, if you just don't know how you compare against Adita Hedman, um, a lot of the European players are just so amazing, and Japanese players that should be there. I want to say I know relatively who's going to be there, but just look at Dark Connect to see who's registered. Um, One of my favorite matches that I got to experience in Budapest was going up against Eileen de Graaf. And I came out of that like, you know how you and I like black out when we play darts?
Every time,
So
without fail.
yeah. So later I'm like looking at Dark Connect, I'm like, wait, I won 2 legs. Like, I of course lost the match. It's a first to 4. Of course I lost the match. But I won 2 legs against a PDC pro. Like, to me, in my head, I blow these players up so big, and they are so incredible and talented, but I'm not as bad as I thought, is kind of the interesting lesson that I learned. and you get an immediate experience you will never get. This is one of those rare opportunities. If you're a Paula Murphy, a Callie West, and Asia Jalbert, you can absolutely contend on your best day. If they were to raise their, are you okay?
I don't know. Did you notice that? Like my entire power just flickered in my entire apartment.
No, I was clearly going off on a montage here
All
about
the
the
lights
benefits
just
of the move.
flickered and everything in the background. I don't know how we're still here. There's a tornado warning right now. I'm so sorry. I was so surprised that we did not lose connection. You're making great points over here. No, you're crushing it.
Oh, I could go on all day, but like let's focus on the big things, okay? So, oh my gosh, North American opportunity. It's in a really cool event city. USA Darts gets to potentially stream this for 3 years. And if you've just never known how you contended against the best in the world, especially like women, oh my gosh, you're so much better than you think you are. I love to say that to myself and others. You're so much better than you think you are. And in actuality, you might only be 5 points per round, 10 points per round away from doing deep runs in some of these events. Like I was trying to say, Paula Murphy, Callie West, Asia Jalbert, those are players and many others. I just, I don't want to be long winded about naming people. Those are people that absolutely. Exactly. No, it's insane. Like it's insane that I didn't lose 0-4 every single round. Like there was I won matches in Budapest. I took a couple legs off players way better than me, but it's interestingly easy to upset in darts, and I just really want to like motivate people. Seize this opportunity is insane. Even if you don't, again, if you don't qualify for the Masters, who cares? Go to Vegas. This is crazy.
I'm going to take a little bit of the same and a little bit of a different take here. Now, I wholeheartedly agree for everything you said from the North American specific perspective. There is nothing but benefits here if you live in the US or Canada. Simply put, right? You're getting a WDF high level platinum event over here, main stage, full coverage, the whole nine with all the international pros. It's like Las Vegas Open on steroids times 10, right? Big win for anybody that's over here. I will say, when I saw the move, as someone that now works with planning event logistics, booking hotel event venues, and setting dates for tournaments for some company, don't know which one. I can tell you, when something changes that quickly on this notice, something fell through that they didn't expect. Again, this is not insider info. This is not, I have not personally talked to WDF about this event. I am just a fruity person on a podcast, but I can tell you, something like that doesn't happen overnight. If not, they would have probably picked the dates to be very different than they did. That's the dead giveaway. They could have been planning to move this event one way or the other, but the date change implies no, there was definitely some big shifting, or else they would have said something towards the start of the WDF point earning year. If you're a European and you're upset about it, I think you have every right to be. Asterisks. If you have to ask yourself this: would you rather them not have this event at all or have it with these changes? That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to something like this. When something falls through in this kind of way, I guarantee you, with the event of this caliber and size, that they were getting some form of assistance from the previous venues in Budapest in some way or another, just like they probably are from the Rio here. You have to take that in consideration. If you don't want to travel internationally through American customs right now, I'm not going to blame you. I really am not. You don't want to go on this short of notice, or you can't commit to traveling during that time of year for maybe time with a family, vacation, holiday, whatever else it may be, whatever complications. I totally understand. But to Jen's point, if you're here and you're in North America and you're not turning out in droves to this event to either be a spectator or a participant, as there is events open to everybody, as Jen mentioned, which they need to market that a little bit more here, because I don't think most people understand that fact. That's going to be the big difference maker here. And you're right. We look at the US, we look at Germany as like the biggest growth markets for where darts can be the healthiest, that is currently not at full force. And Germany's getting to that full force size. I think the US is at 10% of its full potential, if I'm being honest, if not even less. We're a massive, massive market, but I got a feel for the Europeans on this one. I think that there was a big shock. I think the WDF has been doing a lot of great decisions lately. I just think this one was just a very jarring for a big portion of their core contenders. That there's core contributors to their program, and frankly, I have to also feel for any event organizers that go through the sanctioning process that now fall after the date, and I just wonder what that process was like for them.
I'll give you a tiny bit of pushback on that because I will say, as someone who actually played in those venues in Europe, it is infinitely worse than the kind of ways that we host events in America. Air conditioning alone, your aircon, it is absolutely brutal. Sweating from head to toe playing in those venues. I mean, it's the like people need to not forget those are the number one complaints that you're going to hear from everyone visiting. And I know this is going to sound really insensitive and like I lack compassion for the situation, but personally, I just don't see the point in boohooing and worrying about the fact that it was changed quickly. The reality is it happened. There's absolutely nothing that anyone can do about it. So I'm not really in the camp of like, I need to either defend or criticize the WDF. I just need to seize the opportunity of what's happening and explain to people why it's still worth going. So if you're a European and the flight costs, obviously, nobody can do anything about that. It is going to be high. I spent a lot going to Budapest even before the political climate right now. So just last September, October time,
Mhm.
it's really not that much different. But here's the big difference: lodging, food, and alcohol. Like when you look at every single factor that goes into a week-long darts event, the Rio early bird special, 59 US dollars, otherwise $79 hotel rooms. That's incredible for a Vegas destination spot. When we do the Las Vegas Open, we stay at the Tuscany, right, Nick? And that's far more
Mhm.
expensive. Then you've got really cheap food and drink deals that are going to be going on through Rio Rewards. So that's another thing, like nobody's talking about that kind of stuff or like looking into it. So I've been thinking to myself, okay, I feel like a little bit of self-pressure to make content to kind of help people understand, like, is it as bad of a situation as as people are criticizing it to be, or are you not looking at the full picture? And to your point, yes, like of course, in an ideal world, it would be amazing if you had a full year to process this change and plan for it and understand like everything. But I've been around 10 years looking at the way organizations are run and how difficult it is, how big the boards are, how everyone has to agree, coordinating schedules. It's so everything is always so much more nuanced and more difficult to pull off, especially a giant venue change like that and all of the R&D that goes into developing an event like this. Um, yeah, I mean it's just like something we have to bite the bullet. Finally, I booked my travel literally 1 month in advance when I went to Budapest because I didn't qualify for it until the very end of, like, the the points ranking year. So it's just, like, there are so many people that are in that situation. I think it would be a mistake to miss out on it just because you're, like, a little agitated about a quick, uh, location/timing change. There's so much going on in fall. Fall is by far fall, winter, super high peak darts season, so maybe that frees up some time for you at the tail end of the year to do a different kind of a trip by taking advantage of a summer trip. People always complain that, like, Vegas is super hot, but you're gonna be indoors. Like, we know the drill. You're gonna be indoors with amazing air conditioning. I just don't really have a lot of, like, I don't think that it's healthy or important to fixate on it because you just will your voice is just not gonna impact the WDF or, like, you don't work with them. You know, if you wanna volunteer your time and help them plan things in the future to make better choices and do
Sure.
things in a timely manner, go for it.
I mean, to your point, it's not, people are going to complain one way or the other, and it's never as bad as the complaints make it seem with anything on the internet ever for the rest of time. That is just how that works. Every single change feels like it's the most permanent, painful thing that will ever happen, and it will ruin the game forever. And there's no more respect in darts. I got to stop bringing that one up. But sorry.
I
Um,
have something to say on that later.
so I will say this though. What I would be curious is as the organizer, right? And I can tell you this as again lived experience is the only thing that will make the difference is who shows up and who doesn't. So if 10% of the people made up the population in Budapest and they keep a relatively similar participation base, but it goes up to like maybe 40 or 50% of North American participation, that might be a very smart move for the WDF, right? Vice versa, if they don't get any of the European support and they don't educate the North American audience well enough, well, then it might not be. And what will make the decision last one way or the other will not be your Facebook comment. It will be either if you chose to participate and engage or you didn't. That is how events decide long-term success, and decide if they were going to go back to venues, if they're going to continue to do multi-year deals and everything else besides that. I hope nothing for this event to be successful, because this is another big major hitting over here in the US, just like when the US Masters came over here, and when it was originally in Vegas and then got removed to New York and kind of revamped. God, it gave it a breath of fresh air compared to the days where, yes, don't get me wrong, Awesome Dawson beating James Wade on stage was cool in Las Vegas, but the audience didn't know how to be an audience. Now the U.S. Masters is one of the loudest venues and one of the most pivotal PDC events in the World Series of Darts portion of their tour. And I hope that that can happen here with the World Masters and a place that's world famous. I love that. And I hope that it goes well for them. But I will sit here and I'll take a sit back and I'll say, would be a little nervous in their position right now, just considering how much they rely on European participation for this particular event.
I hear what you're saying. I know it's fair to put them under a microscope and watch their decision making, and is it fair to the players? And I really don't lack compassion for people, but at this point, the news has been out for a month, so it's go time. It's like, are you in or are you out? And it's time to make a decision. And if you need help hand-holding to make that decision, I think that's all that I can do personally, is just try to educate or inspire and motivate. Like, it's a particularly amazing opportunity for up and coming North Americans, especially since some are choosing CDC over the Masters, like a little bit less competition. Venue change to me is going to be the biggest benefit, because you have the same event being run in a much better place with much better lighting, probably better boards this time around, probably just better sponsorship, everything. Like, I know a little bit more into the back end of it. I'm genuinely just unsure what I could reveal or not, so I'll try not to overstay my welcome.
First look here, point of question, slicing the avocado. Jen, what's inside this fruit?
All I'm saying is, I understand if you are against the move and you're out, but I think the reality is I'm more focused on folks that just like have no idea what's going on, and like I want to get them excited about it. And you're right, participation is going to matter so much. There's so much at stake this first year to set the tone for the next 3 years. I just can't wait. Like, I can imagine a world where they sell tickets for a live audience in somewhere like Vegas. If you have the right kind of venue, Vegas, New York, it's possible. No, absolutely not possible in Hungary, in my opinion. Just, it was an amazing city and an amazing experience. I would go back there in a heartbeat, but the playing conditions definitely will be better in Vegas.
Hi, WDF. I'm sure you're listening to our podcast. Can I just say, what you should be doing right now is you just buy a bunch of big old cups. You fill it up with some daiquiri mix. You just go out and say, you want this cup? Go sit in that room for at least an hour. And that's how you get an audience. You don't even have to sell tickets. Like, you get those people in there. There's plenty of people in Las Vegas looking for a cold drink and some rowdy activities. I hope it goes well. I really do. I think that this is a big win for us selfishly. I just, taking the lens out to
very selfishly.
Yes. When we look at the European participation of the WDF circuit, a la over 90% of the participation of the WDF circuit, I think, man, that's not a fun decision for them, but it could be a great one. You're not wrong. If this venue satisfies the players better, because I'll be honest, when I saw the pictures and I heard some of the stories from playing in venues in the past, I'm like, that doesn't sound very fun at all. So that could be a big one right there.
Sure. I was there. I wasn't even there for the worst heat. Like the year before me was definitely like worse. But to your point, I actually think that's a really good idea, Nick. If you just handed out flyers that said like free, like live action darts entertainment, free, no entry, no door price, nothing, great deals on drinks and food, like people would absolutely fill those seats in Vegas. Like, especially
they already hand out the booby cards
time. Yeah, let's do it. You and me.
Well,
half boobies, half darts.
I'll wear like a very gnarly crop top, and we'll do this together in Las Vegas in the summer heat. That's fine.
Okay, sounds good. All right,
So you said
you ready to
you
move on?
yeah, you said you had an update on the Chrissy thing. Is that right?
Oh, you just reminded me that ever since we did that podcast and we recap, you got to watch episode 2 if you haven't yet. But it
Gang
was a good
gang.
one. We talked about the supposed rise and disrespect in darts. And what's so interesting is ever since we did that, I had multiple DMs of people sharing stories of. Sorry, let me take a step back. Chrissy Grimmel made the post giving her thoughts that went viral, and then a ton of people commented on it and shared. And I just found it interesting that people were petty enough to DM me and be like, this person that was like, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. They were an absolute dick to me. Like, I could tell you all these times, half the people on this list that are in agreement that there's no respect in darts are some of the most disrespectful players I've encountered in my experience. And I'm like, yeah, I think what it boils down to, boys and girls, is that some personalities don't clash well. We have different standards of what constitutes respect in darts. Like it's louder than ever. I mean, Nick, you absolutely popped off. You made some excellent points about the online darts and remote community affecting it. Slay. I just thought that was funny that you know, it is interesting. Some of the most loudest people that are for a certain belief and they're holding their ground and they're like taking a stand, they tend to be hypocritical. So it's tough
Yeah.
world out
And
there.
and that's not necessarily a dig at Chrissy per se, but these
Not her
stories
specifically, no.
and these people, right? A couple people told me their different stories of different people of the game that they felt like they had to respect or that they weren't accepted into culture at the beginning and stuff like that too, right? So obviously it's a double-edged sword issue. I will say for me, the most vindication I think I've had in a long time in my career of broadcasting was us having that conversation and players saying thank you, right? Because they felt like they were a minority voice in a very, very loud environment. So to be able to go ahead and provide an opportunity to have those discussions, that's kind of the point. We have the second best queer darts podcast because we're trying to make a safe space for people here to be able to talk about whatever they want to talk about, whether it be the liberal agenda of probiotic sodas, whether it be about respect and darts, or the best pizza toppings. We really do solve darts' life's biggest problems here as pointed questions, don't we, Jen?
I noted your omission of the top 5 best veggies of all time that I very clearly have the better list that is very absolutely decided upon on social media, Nick.
Yeah, listen, I'm glad that you got the veggies win. You can have the veggies win. I kick your ass in the best U.S. darts team. That wasn't even, you got gapped so hard. And Garrett Rakowski, I want to say I always believed in you. As soon as we stopped recording, Jen was like, why did I pick Garrett? That's messed up.
That is not entirely true.
What is it, Jen? Go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Tell Garrett what you said. Tell Garrett what you said.
Whoa. I explicitly stated that I just made a panic decision. It wasn't anything against Garrett. And I kind of just made the mistake of like not really thinking through steel tip and soft tip. And yes, I was just spiraling during that segment. And Nick came up with the categories, absolutely had the advantage coming in. I've never done a draft. I don't want to talk about it.
I want to keep talking about it. That's amazing. It is hailing, by the way, outside.
Oh, buddy, are you going to get blown away? Is it really tornadoing over there?
I just got a flood warning notification, too. Oh, we're crushing it over here. Garrett, I just want you to know, if I ever pick you, it's because I mean it. Anyways, guys, I believe, Jen, you wanted to fill us in a little bit on the Luke Littler drama.
Yeah, there's always darts drama, especially on the European side, and I feel like we focus quite a bit, within our own country, which is understandable. But I've kind of always been becoming more progressively curious about this kind of split in fans with Luke Littler, and drama around him, like his talk of his attitude, and he has fan backlash. I think the golden boy is just out there getting a little spicy, Nick. So I'm just really curious your thoughts. Are you in the camp of, some people say he's already or becoming super arrogant and ungrateful for his success and position in darts, and then the other half are kind of more like, well, he's a teenager dealing with insane pressure under a microscope. Kind of, where do you fit in that range?
I've always said this. Darts needs characters. Darts needs personalities. If you just want everyone to go up there and shake hands on stage, play their match, and then walk away, you're going to be bored. Bobby George didn't go up on that stage and show his nipple for nothing. I can tell you that much. I think it's awful that people are just over here saying that this is a disgrace to the sport. No, you can say, I don't like it and cheer against them. That's the point. Right? But if you're going to go and put anybody in front of cameras and press nonstop, having everybody their life and relationships and family analyzed constantly, they might have a bad day. They might have some attitude. And guess what? He's allowed to be arrogant. You know why, Jen? Do you understand that if you look at James Wade and everyone's like, oh, he has a top 15 career in the PDC and he has done nothing close to what Luke Littler has done in 2 years. You take just 6 months of his career. At any point, take a literal cookie cutter and cut 6 months out of his career, and it's better than a majority of people that have ever held a PDC Tour card and ever will hold a PDC Tour card. He is phenomenal, and people can complain that Target keeps relaunching his darts with different versions. Guess what? He is driving more people, more fans, and more merchandise into the sport, which is driving further investment, further interest, and more eyes on our game. So I don't care if he's going out there flipping off the crowd every other day. I don't care if he's going out there and hitting the gnarliest celebration after hitting his 27th 9-darter. I really couldn't care less. But what you guys need to stop doing is being parasocial and weird and telling people how they should be acting. That's what you guys got to stop doing.
I do think we're a bit divorced from reality of what we expect from literal superstars, the literal best in their sport. To think that they're not going to clap back when you're booing in their face, whistling at you, coming at you hard, talking about your body, talking about your weight, talking about your lifestyle, your girlfriend, your parents. It's just incessant. I am not even remotely famous, and I'm annoyed.
You're the most famous North American darts content creator.
Content.
Cake sitter.
Oh, I guess that's probably true just from a data standpoint of following. Is that what you mean? Just from vanity metrics?
Yeah.
I guess that's a claim, but I don't care. It's my job. I don't care. And there are so many negatives that even come from my super, super, super small world of being observed. And I'm not even doing it for attention seeking reasons. It's my job. And I want to help people via entertainment, education, or motivation. It's what gives me purpose in life. I love this sport and I want other people to love it. And a consequence of that is having a bunch of attention. And it's like, I can't even fathom what it is like to be a teenager who has this kind of microscope over him. Like it's crazy because we're talking about the most normal superstar behavior ever. If anything, a very dumbed down version of every other like major sport. The way he acts is barely scraping the surface for me of like just pure arrogance, hate, ungratefulness. Like we're so dramatic with how we describe people in the boxes that we put them in. So I definitely resonate with what you're saying. I think it's fine if people have differing agendas of what they want out of their superstars. Like some people really like boring players. Some people love the gentleman's sport. Some people really, really do not want to see like a lightning, entertaining, dramatic match. And like the amount of people that bitch when Gerwin Price is like that's the best thing of darts for me.
Exciting.
Like, oh my God, it's the most exciting thing ever. Like it's so weird. I just don't understand people. I feel like we just are living in different worlds. I've been blessed to get to have a job career path where I get to be stage side photography for these players in the flesh. I'm closer to them than the audiences. The VIP audience is nowhere near as close as I am to these players, and to get to see them be electric in person, to see and hear them. I can hear everything they're saying too. Ooh, I got some tea if you want to hear some someday, Nick. Like it's crazy. And I get to be backstage. I get to be backstage where they're truly showing their real emotions. Like I'm bored out of my mind when I watch certain players, and my job is so much more difficult as a photographer if they're not being lively and energetic and wearing their emotions on their sleeves. Like, I don't know, man. I just find it interesting what people expect.
It's the same people that get mad at the NFL for allowing celebrations, right? It doesn't make sense. Let the players have personality. Let the people have a
Yeah.
little bit of fun with this. At the end of the day, I always say it's not that deep. Let them go have fun. Let them go celebrate. Let them go do these crazy things. Because I can tell you for a fact, there's so many dart matches that are forgettable. But I know for a fact when Luke Littler plays, it is not. When Jan Van Veen plays, it is not. When I see Josh Rock, I see these next generation talents that we're going to be stuck with for the next 20 to 40 years, depending on how long they decide to commit to this game, if not longer. I mean, if we go on a Paul Lim scale, we have another 50 years plus of Luke Littler, by the way.
Oh,
That's
Paul
how
Lim.
long we have. We have half a century left of this by the Paul Lim scale of dart careers. So just sit back and just have some fun. And if you don't like it, that's totally fine. Don't cheer for him. There's certain players that there's actual reasons in real life outside the game where you could probably say maybe they're not my favorite. There's a couple of PDC pros I don't personally like or agree with. And I can tell you for a fact, though, when I cheer, I'm cheering for the personality that's going to put on the better show or the storyline I resonate with more. And these players like Luke Littler are providing you storylines that you've never seen before. Bo Grease is providing you storylines you've never seen before.
Bo.
It is incredible. So just have some fun, guys. They're throwing pointy objects and stop making it's the same. If you're the same person that was giving way too much of a shit about the Kardashians, you're the same person that's super analyzing these pro players' lives, which are just human beings that are probably a little socially awkward and forced into stardom because they're really good at doing their one autistic activity.
Amen, brother. Yes, you have some people like Dimitri Vandenberg that loves to be in front of a mic and say some wild stuff in every interview, but the majority of these guys are deeply uncomfortable with press and media. And I know because it's my job to make them comfortable. And the hoops that I go through to make sure they understand I'm not a vulture who's going to embarrass them and catch them on their absolute worst day and captures a sliver of a
Charlie
moment
Murphy.
that's going to. Oh my gosh. Damn, Nick. Oh my gosh. I'm just crying over here. Yeah, you know what? I'm with you. You know what, Nick? We're not Charlie Murphy. I actually think if we can turn, if we can put the mirror in front of ourselves, if anything, we're the ones being ungrateful for not appreciating what the likes of Luke Littler and Bo Grease has done for this sport. They've absolutely transformed the sport. And again, there are so many other names that, I could say that are deserved the attention and recognition, but holy hell, Nick's right. It's not that deep. Be appreciative that you get this entertainment to debate about. It's like, if you want to debate about who's the GOAT and all these fun, lighthearted things, go for it. But my God, stop talking about his body, stop talking about these people's lives, their divorces, them skipping events, them doing what they need to do for their physical and mental health. Just chill.
They
got
owe
great things
you
going on in
nothing.
darts.
Well, and to take it one step further back, and maybe this is a good topic for another day of a pointed question, but sports betting has made the culture very toxic as well. I mean, the fact is, when Jules got all those death threats during the World Cup for his performance, I still remember that very vividly. And I remember they were the only seeded team to lose that first round. And I remember how awful that was. And the same thing when players don't do certain things, you see these weird comments of this ode aspect that people feel the need that they have. It's gross. Yeah. It's weird. Just sit back and enjoy darts. If you decide to gamble on it, don't make it the player's problem. That is your problem that you're just spending your wife and children's money on darts.
I always forget about that aspect, which is truly a major correlation to the behavior and the comment culture that you see, and it is the gambling aspect. So it honestly just makes me sad. I have a really hard time even kind of going down that road. I mean, if it's okay with you, Nick, I'd love a pick-me-up and we can just move right into our next segment. Is that okay?
I think that's great. Jen, what do we got coming up here?
Welcome to What in the Will, the segment where we kind of blur the line between, real commentary quotes and I guess pure Midwest imagination, right? So here's how it works. Nick and I came up with 5 supposed Will Stewart quotes from his actual darts commentary, and we're going to take turns quizzing each other to see if our statement is true or false. So very simple. Did Will Stewart actually say that quote on the mic, or did we just make up some Midwest gibberish? That kind of sounds like something he would say.
Jen, that piano back there, can we make a What in the Will jingle? Because there's this old podcast you listen to where it's like Gavin or Google, and I need like a What in the Will? We're in the Wichita. It's time to figure out what the he said. Like that's what I need right now.
Perfect. I'm on piano. You're on vocals. We'll throw a little guitar in there. Perfect, man.
It's great. All right, well, Jen, hit me with one here. I'm ready. In chat, put true or false. Did he say that? True, he said it. False, he did not.
Okay. Obviously, we're doing 5 rounds. Most guesses wins. So I'm going to start us off. Nick, did Will Stewart say that one had a little extra mustard on it? True or false?
Yeah, no, he likes to use the word mustard and muster interchangeably. I've noticed this about him because then I make jokes about ketchup and mayonnaise immediately after in commentary. 100% that's a true.
It's false. I made that up. Yep.
Oh, that's so evil.
Yeah, I see. I know some buzzwords that he loves to say, so that's all right. I won't reveal my strategy, but anyways, yeah, your turn.
All right. Did Will say, I'm always the one up first. I have to tickle your feet just to get you up in the morning?
Oh, that's definitely true because you guys have shared many a hotel room together. I have to go true.
Unfortunately, that is a true statement, but he's never actually said that on air. These are on-air Will statements only.
Oh, you're tricky.
That one was never on air.
Oh, that's dirty, Nick. Oh my gosh. See, I feel better because I was going to start off by being like, well, butter my biscuits. That's a marker. Just to show you a clearly false one, but I'm glad I did.
You've also you kind of changed the concept of the show very last second, so okay.
Or you misunderstood the concept of the show and prepared incorrectly, and you don't like Sister Act. So
You're telling me the man listened to you incorrectly and didn't take what you were saying into account? That could never happen here.
Wow. Okay, it's 0-0. You ready for round 2? Mm-hmm. Okay. True or false? He's gotta kind of just sort of, get in there, but not too much of it. True or false?
Wait, one more time, but can you do it in a Will voice for me, please?
I can't do a Will impression. The grunts don't help me.
Every single time, that's all you do.
I don't have a deep voice. It's like really hard.
Okay. All right.
He's got to kind of just sort of, get in there, but not too much of it.
That one's false. There's no way. There's no way.
It's true. No! It's from a transcript I took from a match. I will send you the proof. I'll send you the proof. I got the receipts.
All right.
Wow.
Well, here we go. My favorite fair food has to be that Chinese chicken on a stick.
See, Will is surprisingly a cultured man, and he has put in valiant effort to not say things like Chinese on a stick or Oriental or, just like a couple like little buzzwords that I find he's actually quite careful and considerate. I'm going to go with false.
This was like season 2 of the CSE Challenger series, and Sean and I lost our mind when he said Chinese chicken on a stick.
Okay, you're doing me so dirty going back 5 years. Like, what are we doing here? I'm talking about modern day Will. He's cultured now. He went to Europe twice.
The rest are a lot more modern. I promise you that much. But that one's lived rent-free in my brain for years.
What even is that, Will? What even is that food?
When on the stream, I believe he goes, well, it's like they got the chicken. It's like little Chinese chicken on a stick. It's at the fair. And Sean and I did not back him up at all.
Will, you're embarrassing me. Oh, my God.
How are we both 0 for 2?
How are we? Yeah, we're both 0 for 2. Okay.
Well, type your comment right now of your score.
Dude, that's actually a great point. Will playing this game wouldn't get them all correct. He can't remember everything.
I already
he's
told
ever
him that he has to blind react to this segment. So
Okay. Okay. All right. Round 3. That's one of those shots where if it goes in, it goes in.
oh yeah, that's
True or
for
false?
sure. True. Easy true.
It's a false.
No!
I think I'm good at making up. See, I'll let you in a little bit on my insight. What I've learned about Will is he's an amazing color commentary because he just says something kind of philosophical without ever actually talking about what's going on. And so if you don't have the context of the match in front of you and you just like heard it, you wouldn't have any clue. Like he just loves to talk around
at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so brutal because I'm pretty sure he's had to have said something very close to that. Which is funny.
I'm sure he has, but
I should know these things. Okay. For context, I asked Will to name 5 women on the live stream the other day. These were the 5 names he told me, true or false. Amelia Earhart, Rosa Parks, Nancy Reagan, Hillary Clinton, Princess Diana.
Say that again. Say that again.
The other day, Will and I were on a live stream, and I said, name 5 women. These are the 5 women he said, true or false. Amelia Earhart, Rosa Parks, Nancy Reagan, Hillary Clinton, Princess Diana.
You know what's really throwing me off is Nancy Reagan. I don't see him saying Nancy Reagan or Rosa Parks. And Princess Diana? Princess Di? Princess Di made the list? That's dope. Whomever came up with this list is dope. Oh, God, Nick. I'm just going to go with my gut and say false.
That's actually what he said during the Booyah Cup this year, where Will was talking to me about how I didn't know who Rodney Dangerfield was. And I said, Will, can you name me 5 Rodney Dangerfield movies? And he goes, bam, 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 bam. And I said, okay, now name 5 women. And it took him 3 times as long. And that's the 5 names he gave me, when Nancy Reagan being his 3rd choice of women.
He could have said me, first of all. He could have said Carly. He could have said Kelly Torrey, like all the women he works with, Kayla.
They have to be researchable. They have to be Googleable. You know, I agree.
Okay. Sorry,
he did go with some known names, known quantities.
My bad. I didn't know the rules. I take it back, Will. I love your list, bro. Like, that's the best thing that came out of this segment. Okay.
We're
Dang it. So
3.
We're 3. I can't. Someone out there who's playing along with us, they're clearly doing better than us if anyone's gotten one correct. So congratulations.
You're winning.
Okay, Nick, round 4. You don't love that, but you also don't hate it, but you kind of hate it, you know?
Oh, he said that. It's the you know. He says you know at the end. That's for sure. I'm locking this one in. Give me my first point on the board, Jen.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. He did say, you don't love that, but you also don't hate it, but you kind of hate it. You know?
Man, you got some good quotes here. I'm not going to lie. You're doing
Again, just
so
talking
good.
around what's happening. All right, you're number 4.
If Rain X freezes and you put Rain X on your doors, do the math.
I so believe he would bring up something random like that during a live stream. See, now I don't know if you're tricking me. That he said that with confidence. He's said that, but was it on the mic, Nick? And
if
you know what?
Rain X
It has to
freezes,
do.
you put Rain X on your doors, do the math.
It has to do with weather, and he fucking loves talking about weather, especially bad weather. I'm going with true.
Ding, 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 ding. This one's also from the Booyah Cup. We talked about how I didn't have wipers in my car and I put Rain X on the windshield. And then someone asked if Rain X freezes. And that was Will's response.
Not the chat coming in on that one. Oh, God. That's
okay, it's 1-1,
right.
Jen. I'm going to get a point here and make it so we can at least tie or a win for me. I'm getting this one right.
Whew, if you don't get this right, I'm going to feel so good finishing this off. All right, round 5. Round 5. That dart landed softer than grandma's couch.
No, there's no way. That's too deep of an analogy. No, he doesn't get there. He doesn't get there.
Dang it, you're right. It's false.
Yeah, back. I can't. I'm at least gonna tie Jen. Chat's crushed us, I'm sure, and will probably beat us.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Last one for you, Jen. The one thing they got right about this tournament, Nick, they got a bracket named after you. You're a loser.
I'm just gonna go gut. That sounds like a Sean Green quote because he's a little bit more brutal. Like he's quick-witted, he's brutal. Sean is so funny when it comes to like just a pure like I'm gonna call you out for something or you might be agitating him. So I can't give that one to Will. I'm gonna say false.
Ding, ding, ding. It's a tie. 2-2 on the first ever What in the Will. Unless you got any off top of the dome, we can go overtime here.
Okay, lightning round.
Lightning round.
Here we go. That dart had ideas, just not good ones.
False?
It's false. Dang it.
No...
Okay.
Those eyes get me every time.
Whose eyes? Whose eyes, Nick? Those eyes get me every time. Is this during a segment where he's doing like the loser cam and he's zooming in with the PTZs on someone in the crowd? True.
It is true. It was when Tracy Firetag was playing during LVO, and at one point, Will, while spotting, it just randomly goes under his breath, Tracy, those eyes get me every time. And then I immediately go, Chad, if you're wondering what the that was, he's talking about spotting and is not falling in love.
That is amazing. And yeah, Tracy Firetag's really tricky. She does switch to the 19 a lot, and she wears glasses sometimes when she plays. So yeah, I agree with him that's a tricky one. Wow, spotting. Wouldn't have guessed that. Okay. Oh, here we go. That's one of those where you just gotta let it happen.
No, that's true. That's one of those where you just gotta let it happen. Makes sense to me.
Made it up right now. False.
Okay.
Yep. Again, all you have to do with Will is just don't actually say anything.
Just let him keep going.
No, just talk around a scenario. Like
just
you're
talk
just
around.
Colorful language.
All he's
talking
gotta do.
around it. You're no specifics like a Sean Green will say, and that was 3 single 20s. What Will would say is, well, can't be mad about that. You know, like there's Will observes like feeling and emotion and like he's emotional, and Sean is articulate and observant with what's happening right before his eyes.
All right, I'm gonna try to stump you one last time here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand why they call it a parody draw. I don't think this is funny at all.
I was there. It's true. I was there.
Ding, ding,
I was
ding.
listening.
Jen's the winner. The first ever one in the Will.
Yeah! Tournament of Champions. Will Stewart said that. That was hilarious, by the way. Yes.
No,
God,
Will that's a parody. Content. We're talking about a parody.
And that was What in the Will.
Guys, hopefully you guys had a fun time. If you know any Will quotes, leave them right now. Let us know. Will, type your score in right now. We want to know how you did. And
did you better than us?
Jen, of course he did. We did terrible. We did way worse than we should have. Way worse.
But I had a lot of fun. Don't care. Had a lot of fun.
Great. Now, I can tell you about time I didn't have a lot of fun, Jen. It's part 2 of Plot or Not. Last episode, Jen gave me a description. Calm it down. You just sit down in your chair and you listen for a minute. Hold up.
Whatever, Nick.
Jen gave a description for this movie called The Sister Act, and I notoriously have not watched movies, and Jen told me to start watching them, and the whole point is that she would describe a movie, and then I would watch said movie. I watched it right before this podcast, so I'm coming in right fresh on this one. Now, there's two categories here: my actual opinion of the movie and Jin's description. And Jin was an IMDb god. That was incredible. I listened back to it right before and right after watching the movie, and I was like, I thought you were reading like an actual synopsis on the Wikipedia. That was one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. Like, you were in a flow state. It was like the movie Soul when people get in the zone. That's exactly what that was. Yeah, I see movies. I can make references. I can tell you for a fact that that movie was dog water. Oh my God. I was so ready for that movie to be over after the first 10 minutes.
What?
Okay. It wasn't bad.
I need you to take a breathalyzer test right now. Are you high? Do you not feel joy?
Do you breathalyze weed?
I don't know. I'm flabbergasted right now. You thought it was dog water? Seriously,
it was pretty bad. Yeah, it was kind of like, okay, the whole point of a movie, particularly comedy, I always say the best movies make you feel something, or they made you forget how much time you spent investing into it, right? So I can tell you for a fact that I was very cognizant of the movie length, and I can tell you it got me to laugh once unintentionally and like 2 or 3 times intentionally, maybe. And the unintentionally is because they used the word bubkiss, which I thought was hilarious. I lost my mind when that Vinny or Vince guy said bubkiss. It just made me laugh so much. But I'm not saying that this has to be an Oscar-winning plot, but the characters were just all so like dumb and had no, like, there was no payoff to any of the side characters getting built up. Whoopi just couldn't stop smiling most of the time and couldn't even hold a straight face when she was supposed to be straight face. None of the character decisions made sense, and I don't care in a comedy movie if character decisions make sense. But what I do care about is if they don't make sense, it has to be funny. And there was a way better movie hidden within that movie that they just chose not to make, and they just added all this random nonsense and tomfoolery. I thought the payoff wasn't there. It wasn't offensive. I wasn't actually bad, but it had nothing that was particularly good, other than any time the choir was doing choir stuff. That was fun. That was great. Give me a movie of just that. I don't need the random going outside, painting, and doing the neighborhood TV news.
You didn't like the montage?
The montage was so weak. The chase scenes had way too upbeat of music. I'll be honest. This is at best a 5 out of 10. And I just want you to know IMDb only gave it a 6.6. So I'm not that far below what the people are saying.
We don't care what the IMDb ratings are of people decades later judging this movie that came out in 1992, the year I was born. But you need to imagine the hood of the 90s.
Okay,
and being a kid, watching Whoopi not fail to act as you so claim, but she just had pure charisma. She had amazing comedic timing. The woman doesn't even have eyebrows, and her facial features alone are carrying so much of the physical comedy. Like, we're just not seeing the same thing. And that's her real voice singing in the movie.
No.
She can sing, boy.
And the choir parts were great. If they made a whole movie of okay, I'm sorry, but to be fair, I understand that 1992, A Fish Out of Water story was way more enticing, and there's been a million and one of those like now, which doesn't help this movie's case. But I can also tell you, the entire movie was her like actually learning how to be a nun and struggling really bad and just consistently getting caught doing bad things, and then also like really working with a struggling choir. Unfortunately, I just didn't care about any of the side characters because none of them had realistic buildups or payoffs at all.
Dude.
Like, at
crazy
all.
take.
No,
dude,
no, this is
the legend Maggie Smith as Mother Superior, Olympic level restraint comedy coming from her. So who cares if there's a story arc with a mini side character? Dude, Sister Mary Patrick?
Every
Sunshine
character in
Hilarity?
Airplane, a movie that came out 12 years prior, had way better like relevance to the plot in a movie that was so nonsensical with its plot. Every side character had personality. Here, it's like, nope. I couldn't even tell half the nuns apart other than the 2 main side chicks.
What?
They were
Dude,
all the same lady.
Oh, yeah, other than the 2 side chicks. So, okay, so you got Sister Mary Patrick. Which is Kathy Najimy, by the way, from Hocus Pocus. She voices Peggy Hill from King of the Hill.
No, I've seen Peggy Hill from King of the Hill. That's a show.
Peggy Hill.
That's a great show.
This actress. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This actress. Wow. Kathy saw a news anchor one night, like watching television, and the news anchor is all like bubbly and sunshiny, and she's like, "That's Sally Field, gotta love her." And then just like a light bulb dinged in her mind, and she was like, "Oh my god, that's my nun. That's how I'm gonna develop my character on the nun." And she sent the news anchor a bouquet of roses and never told her why, which is such a baller move. And Kathy, she's a social activist in real life. There was a scene where they wanted her like protesting like a pornography store or something during the montage, which you hated. And she like refused to do the scene. And so they ended up having her like giving out raffle tickets instead or something, but she like took a stand. Dude, you got like Sister Mary Robert, she goes from like talk about story arc going from this timid whisper to like full Christina Aguilera vocal powerhouse.
All they did was they let her start singing. She didn't do anything else. She got her tummy touched once. This is exactly what happened. She's like, "You're struggling to sing." She touches her tummy while she's singing. She hits a note, and for the rest of the movie, she is now Christina Aguilera, and there was no further developments on that fact.
No, Nick, no. She was a young postulate that hadn't become a real nun yet, and she was very excited about Sister Mary Clarence's arrival to the convent, and she came out of her shell through emotional and physical connectivity. She was probably a closeted lesbian who had the hots for Whoopi and got real excited and got brought out of her shell. I'm just trying every angle to get you invested into this movie.
It's too late. I've already seen it. Unfortunately, you did enough to get me to want to watch it because your description amazing. The movie itself, just a mid-fest. And like with montage hate, let's just be honest. Things that suck from the 80s, music, montages, and like that 90s hangover was clearly still there. There was too much music, too much montage.
Oh, yeah.
I only wanted the choir segment. The opening segment was so drawn out.
It was, yeah.
Like it starts off so slow, and like I just don't care at all. And you know why I don't care? Because Whoopi's character, Dolores, doesn't even care about her situation because she's too busy being a pick-me girl and saying, "I don't want to be here," and then gets put there and then starts to really want to be there and then gets told, "Okay, well, you have to help with the choir." And her character should have been like, "Oh, well, at least I can finally pass my time here." Instead, her character goes, "I don't want to do it," and like protests the decision. None of the characters make any sense, and they all change on a dime. And I think, moral of the story, it was 5 out of 10. It was not offensive, but my, oh my, the best part about that movie was the Wingstop I had while watching it.
I'm amazed that you haven't brought up the most unrealistic nature of the entire plot, which is that Pope Francis himself flies all the way to San Francisco.
That's cool.
Nick, in 1992, there were only like magazines and shit. Like, how did this Pope hear about a choir that he's never listened to and decides, I can put my Pope shit aside for a minute and come all the way?
See, that's hype. Okay, a comedy movie, I'm okay to sacrifice expectations and say, you know what? Yeah, I guess the Pope's there now. Totally fine with me. I'm willing to let that go. But if they just had one bad choir session, and then Whoopi goes in there, touches a girl's tummy, and now all of a sudden they are the hottest band in town. There was no build-up. There was no payoff. I don't even feel like she really struggled to be a nun because, frankly, they didn't show much of it. They didn't even pay off the whole her stealing a tomato thing. She just stole tomato.
I know that was the most random like little bit, but you know what, Nick? Whatever. I'm sorry it wasn't The Godfather or your beloved Pulp Fiction. Okay,
I do love Pulp Fiction.
Whatever. Yeah. Sister Act is a feel-good comfort movie classic with an amazing cast. I'm banning you from seeing Sister Act 2, which has even better musical numbers that you will never see because you're banned.
If you have nostalgia, I'm sure it's a great movie. If you watch that movie objectively in the year 2026, you would be thinking about every other movie. Like that movie was slightly worse than probably the new Super Mario movie that just came out. Because that was at least a brain rot that I could get behind, and that made me lose track of time with the shiny colors.
Okay, guys, let's put this to bed right away. Is it just nostalgia for me that is projecting here, or is Nick a terrible judge of movies?
Yes.
Let us know.
To both. The answer is yes to both. And on that point, Jen, do you have a question for me?
I do have a question for you. Do you mean the pointed question of the day?
I would love to know the pointed question of the day.
We have decided that the pointed question of the day is going to be, what do you need to know about barrel sponsorships, especially in modern time?
Yeah, I think before we even get anywhere near specifically barrels, one of the things that I think you said best, and I bring this up all the time when people have this conversation with me, is sponsorship is a symptom of a result, right? It is not the goal. Sponsorships happen because you're already doing the right things. If your goal is to get sponsored, you have the wrong goals. I see posts every couple weeks, if not every couple days sometimes, of players saying my goal is to get sponsored or my goal is this, my goal is that. No. Now
Hmm.
you have it on your bucket list to have your own line of barrels. That's a bucket list item. But specifically getting sponsored is a thing that you shouldn't be seeking. And what I see time and time again is people get so caught up in the idea of having their own barrels or the idea of a sponsorship label. It's one or the other, sometimes both, that they will be willing to settle for stuff that they shouldn't be taking. I don't necessarily believe that it's like people say that, barrel sponsorships aren't what they used to be and stuff like that, which to an extent that absolutely is true. There's oversaturation in the market now that did not exist before. But I definitely don't have the opinion that like none of these people should ever be sponsored. But I think a lot of these people are kneecapping their career very early on into their development by taking these opportunities too early. And that's the first thing before we even get into the barrel sponsorship deals themselves. That's the first thing I want people to understand.
I believe to a little like kind of expand on what you're saying about don't jump into something so quickly is especially if you're brand new into the sport. The barrel is the single greatest, most important aspect of your performance outside of your actual throwing mechanics and how you grip. And Dax Munna famously said, "How you grip the dart should guide your barrel choice," and that is kind of developing over time. So if you commit to a specific type of barrel and that immediately that cuts out any potential of you continuing to experiment and fine tune all of these micro little cuts and textures and shapes and weights that you can mess around with to elevate your game, that tinkering is so important, especially up to a certain point. Some people just know what they like or they're not that picky right from the get-go, but even myself, I've been playing for 10 years. I'm still tinkering and fine-tuning what I like in a barrel shape and trying to train myself to grip differently, which is one of the hardest things that you can do. So Nick, I think that's a really good point is are you really ready to sign a 3-year barrel contract where you have pretty much no say over the design of that barrel sometimes, or you're not able to change? You could secretly play with a different set of barrels, but you just never know. So overcommitting early can be bad, and it's one of the most difficult sponsorships to get and maintain and make use of. So it is interesting to see how many people are really eager to do it. Whereas I would say the solution to that, instead of just patience, just go get a custom set of barrels made by one of the manufacturers out there or companies and brands that specialize in that. There's literally a brand called Custom Made Darts. Go there, spend the
I
money
wonder what they
to
sell.
have, yeah, like have something specifically made just for you, and then that will really help you be able to model something after that over time. And you'll learn the process of making barrels is so difficult. So, um, Nick, you also talked about the concept of like what does that sponsorship look like. There are predatory deals out there, particularly surrounding barrels. So that was one of those things that we didn't do a good job defining what you and I both think what a vanity sponsorship is. And that got me in the hot seat like pretty quickly because like a lot of folks immediately just thought I meant any sponsorship, which is obviously insane. No,
That's what
a
you meant.
vanity sponsorship. Say again.
That's what you meant. Sorry, guys, you're
Oh,
right.
that's what I meant.
No.
um, I was particularly thinking of a couple of brands that specifically go after brand new players or someone that is just up and coming. They sign a multi-year deal where that player becomes a part-time salesman and they have to sell off like B2B, B2C these barrels and don't actually get a good percentage off of it. Like you're just doing work. You're not focusing in on your career and being a good player who has established a repertoire of skill and accomplishment, and then negotiating where you have negotiation power and can just get a cut of sales, it should always be on the manufacturer to be the one, or the company to be the one distributing and selling like barrels out there. Um, I find that to be one of the biggest disconnects out there of like you should go for a reputable brand without a doubt if that's your goal, is to have merchandised barrels that have custom packaging with your name on it. Otherwise, you'll only just sell out to your local crowd. It's kind of like any pyramid scheme where like I sold Cutco cutlery back in the day. Like that was one
Of
of the
course
like
you did.
I didn't do like Avalon makeup, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like I sold to my family and friends and then I was shit out of luck. And a lot of times that happens. You just are stuck with this brand who's pocketing off of only your efforts, and they don't have their own foot traffic coming into their own website where people are just like excited to discover things about you. It's all on you as the player to popularize your own dart. So those are very like lopsided predatory contracts that you might
Well,
find yourself in.
here's how you can like, this isn't surefire, but this is definitely a good way to help rule out if this is a vanity sponsorship or not. Um, your name and likeness should have intrinsic value if they want you to be sponsored. That is what a sponsorship actually means, is that they're investing in you and continuing to grow your name, brand, and personality, and they're going to be the ones helping you do so. If they ask to sponsor you and they ask you to invest any amount of money at all, then it is a vanity sponsorship, because they are outputting the risk and not giving you the value for your name and likeness. At the very worst case scenario, it should be a break even. It should be a, hey, we'll provide you with X amount of product for completely free, but we're going to sell barrels under your name. That is fine. That could still be a sponsorship, a la the Nick Teixeira April Fool's joke. I made $0, put my name on a product, and sold more than Will Stewart could ever imagine. But on the other end, they could even be saying, giving you a kickback or a flat rate or some type of event deal or whatever else. When they start adding stuff in, that's again point in case that they're valuing you and your brand. They also could be spending time, maybe it's a break even, but they're advertising for you. They're outputting you on multiple different product launches. They're putting you on different storefronts. These are all things that play big factors. And the reason why this matters, besides the obvious predatory nature of this and individuals getting affected in deals that they should never be a part of, that's one part of it. But it does also worsen the negotiating power of every other player that is ready for a next level sponsorship. And so when we see these vanity sponsorships pop up, and this is specifically around barrels, I want to say, I don't have nearly as much of an issue when it comes to jerseys, when it comes to flights, when it comes to these other minor products. Barrels in particular have a habit, and there's multiple companies that are like this. That will really put the pressure on you and take the negotiating power away. Barrels should be a fairly exclusive thing because they are not a cheap product. They're only getting more expensive, and the margins on them are not great. They were always okay, and now they're getting pretty bad. That's why with jerseys that have almost no margins, I don't mind most people just sponsoring and saying you're a part of this jersey team or that jersey team nearly as much, because there's no money to be made there anyways. They couldn't pay you if they wanted to most of the time.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Like, I would love to define quickly what are the two actual types of barrel sponsorships that exist in America, and the only ones that I have seen and written contracts for and negotiated with people is option A. Nick kind of touched on this. You simply get X amount of barrels for free. You get a custom barrel designed for you, and you get X amount for free that gets sent to you annually. Maybe you get a bonus thrown your way if things are just like skyrocketing, or that gives you power to renegotiate your contract if things are going well. Or B, the other type, which is the ideal type that everyone kind of, I guess, assumes is out there, and very few people have this kind of a contract. Custom barrel gets made for you, is launched and put into every distribution center that there is, every storefront in America, and sometimes even in the European division. That gets made for you, and you either get a percentage back based on sales, or you're going to get a fixed dollar amount based on sales, just to simplify it. And that is a huge range of what it could be. So personally, I think like if you're not a tip top player making waves, making content in darts, like someone who has a genuine following, like 50,000 people or more, I think it would be sweet to get like $3 back a barrel, considering how bad margins are right now. Anywhere from 5 to 10% is something to consider, maybe. The biggest benefit really is having the custom barrel made for you, packaged and marketed with your likeness. These are really expensive and time-consuming things to do. And so I never think of business agreements and sponsorships being split 50-50 between the player and the sponsor. In reality, the sponsor is running like an e-commerce business or whatever. They could simply just take those sponsorship dollars and put them into Google Ads, a Google shopping campaign, Bing ads. They could be doing literally anything else with their money and be scaling much faster than off the back of a player. So when a sponsor wants to invest time and effort, it genuinely means it's coming from like an altruistic place where they want to see that player's career develop. They are doing it with philanthropy in mind. They're doing it with the expectation as well that they're hopefully going to create a 3 times return on investment. That's pretty industry standard in America. At least it's far more, and there are far more complicated contracts in Europe where those players have representation and management negotiating those things, and they are required to show up to exhibitions and meets, and there's a long laundry list of conditions that are within these contracts and clauses. But in America, I mean, it's so simple. It's just like maybe you can have a barrel made. And unfortunately, player lines are very unpopular in the United States. And yes, there are diehard, like super fans, especially shout out to the East Coast. You guys are some of the most pure, like steel tip, diehard fans who you live kind of in your own bubble of like, man, you bleed like darts. And I think when people kind of get into that realm, they don't understand the reality of the rest of the country. Like most people just don't care about darts players and superstars. I think that will only change if we have a young breakout star. But the
I'm
reality,
working
I've
on it.
seen sales numbers for yeah, almost 10 years. They just getting a barrel sponsorship first and foremost just will not change your life. Getting any kind of darts sponsorship is not going to equate I've made it, I can just slack off or whatever. It's really just a little bit of help, and it's a sponsor kind of putting a little bit of help into your career, but you're not changing. My life isn't changing when I sponsor a player, and your life isn't going to change. We're just here to like sort of help each other out a little bit. It's good for the if it's good for the industry of darts, that's the idea. But money saved is money earned. So I always tell that to people. It doesn't mean that you should just like snub sponsorships and turn your nose to it. Like it's a wonderful thing. It can be a great thing.
Sure.
Um, Imagine never having to buy dart supplies again. Like that's a ton of money saved. So even though you don't have a financial agreement where you're getting paid to be a player, which virtually doesn't exist, literally I can count on like one hand the amount of people that have deals like that. Um, I think most people should just try to tone down their expectations and understand like that's fine to have that goal, but you just have to be realistic of you're not going to change the sponsor's life and they're not going to change yours.
And to that point, I want to make one thing painfully clear that Jin and I absolutely agree on. When we are dogging on vanity sponsorships, we are not dogging on players that have taken those deals. We are dogging on the predatory organizations that have put them in that position, right? I can tell you for a fact that there was probably a point in my career where that would have been very, very enticing before I got into broadcasting, right? Just as a player, wanting to have identity, wanting to legitimize yourself is all normal things and a part of every player's journey that is trying to rise through the ranks. Because just like we talked about with respect last week, you want to get the ladder, you want to get the status, you want to be able to fit in certain clubs. And so I don't feel bad because some of these players are also perfectly content with the deal they got, even if we would consider it predatory in nature. Therefore, if they're not mad about it, I'm not mad at them at all. But to that point, you're hurting yourself in the long run. I mean, think about it like this, right? You see Luke Littler on stage and these other players, they don't always throw with the whatever their newest line of their current version of their dart is, but they make so much exposure and their name has so much value. It doesn't matter if they do or not. Luke Littler has never thrown the Luke Littler brass darts that they sell at like certain sports stores, but they still exist, right? Because the brand and name value means that much. When you're a player that's not throwing your own custom line that you agreed with too early and now you want to change your darts, well, guess what? I'm not going to buy your dart if you're not throwing your own darts here in North America. I can tell you that without a doubt. I bought player lines from vanity sponsors because I've supported personal friends endeavors in local communities. I've done that exact thing. Just like I guess probably a couple players probably did for me recently here on April 1st. But at the end of the day, what you actually need to know about barrel sponsorships is that they are not a goal And when it does happen, it needs to be something of substance. And if not, hold out because you will be better off for it every single time.
I would add to that, just sign a 1-year agreement. Don't sign a 2-year or 3-year agreement. You can't renegotiate within that time period. If you say, I don't know, you just become a breakout star and you have better negotiation power, you can't break that contract. So you're just screwed with that deal where you get no money back or you're being forced to be the one selling the darts.
And no exclusivity, like unless you're now barrel plus flight package deals have definitely become more common now with more one piece systems from barrel manufacturers starting to exist. I'm not, so maybe those deals are fine, but like anything that says you have to be fully exclusive to every aspect of a branding or product line or anything else, that's not good for you either.
I kind of I've I realized like yes, that does exist. How did I not realize that? It's
Mhm.
so not typical of what we should be seeing in our industry. It should all be separate. Like your barrel is your barrel unless you're getting sponsored by Target and literally only 2 people in America are sponsored by Target.
The
So you got your Danny
Danny's.
Bag, your Danny Lobby, the 2 Dannies. And it makes sense that they would make a K-Flex combo with that, but even then, it's not always the case. It took so much for Paul Lim to switch from L Style. He was die-hard,
Hmm.
loyal, like kind of forced to switch to 8 Flight, I believe, originally, or did it go straight to K-Flex because he was like Target Japan
Hmm.
focused too? I can't even remember, but anyway, it was a big deal that he would switch. So just what Nick's best advice always is it's not that deep. Just like take a step back. Even if you miss that opportunity of that brand new like brand who's just developing and doesn't even have a storefront or like doesn't have a legit looking website, isn't wholesaling into other stores, if they're just one local thing, I can promise you they're not paying for they're not paying for keywords or SEO. We do competitor analysis all the time. Like there's virtually just like no competition out there in the US. There's just like a couple little tiny little pockets, and it's brutal. I'm telling you from the reality of analytics. Like,
Well,
just chill out. Only sign a 1-year deal if you want to give it a try and have that pride of putting your name on a barrel. But don't get stuck in a situation where you can't change contract terms.
I'm also putting on my content creator hat here for a minute too. When you sign with one of these companies, you feel obligated to interact with either team members more, or post from the official account, or do certain level of pushing for your own products if they made you invest in that to buy them in the first place, which should never be the case. That's if you put that same energy into doing those actions, into just promoting you and your tournament experience, your practice
Oh,
routines, your partners, anything else, actually unboxing the random barrels you bought off Facebook Marketplace, you would be way better off. There's a reason in my broadcast career I have not signed one sponsorship exclusivity agreement. You've seen me wear Magic Wear jerseys because I got gifted free jerseys. There was never a deal for that. Just like I've worn Rick Darts and Games jerseys, I've worn Super Darts clothing. I've gone and thrown with different products that I've gotten gifted for free or at severe discount, but never once have I signed a deal, because I also want to be able to have the integrity as a broadcaster to be able to speak openly, just like players feel like they need to defend a brand because of the fact that they're tied to it or not. Don't force yourself into those situations, because that same energy you could be doing into those things. You could be self-promoting yourself, and not just trying to self-promote a product, which is two different things.
that is beautifully said. Not everyone's going to have the personality or will to want to do that. I agree with Nick wholeheartedly. If you have the desire to be a content creator, oh my God, totally. He just gave the best advice. Just spend all of your free time doing that. Don't sign any deals. Develop your own platform, make your own merchandise, sell your own line of your stuff, like pointed questions jerseys. But
Coming when?
it's crazy. Coming, well, it's available now. Just ours are coming in like a month.
It's gonna be the longest month of my life.
Yeah,
All
2
I know,
podcasts from now.
and I'm really honored to be able to be saying this. The official real Nick Teixeira Colonial barrels are coming out.
What?
Nope, no Nick Teixeira Colonial
So,
barrels.
no, that's a great segue into, okay, what do you do once you've signed the agreement? What does that
Sure.
even mean? How could I sign the agreement? Oh my gosh, guys, barrels is one of the worst. So, like, I actually tell people straight up, like, when we have to design and manufacture colonial barrels, our own in house for A to Z, I straight up tell people a year from now, you're going to be seeing that launch. Like we just decided today, you're going to do it a year from now in terms of just all of the R&D going through the sampling and prototyping, going into manufacturing, which is the longest of all things to manufacture, is going to be tungsten barrels. It's going to take way longer than that jersey you've ever waited for, way longer than accessories. There's production issues all of the time. There's tariffs. There's all kinds of things affecting it right now. And of course, the price of tungsten. So this might be the single worst time you could ever try to negotiate for a barrel contract. Or how are you going to deal with that? Every manufacturer is dealing with tungsten prices differently. Some are dumping it all into just darts. Some are absorbing costs across the board so that it's not all being a hurt in darts sales. So basic economic typical decisions that businesses have to make. You just have to be realistic of timeline. The local guys that are probably the best for quick turnaround because they're not producing anyone else's barrels. You know, they're doing such a small amount of things that they can hyper focus on you. So that is a big benefit of going with like more of a predatory contract, where you become a salesman and you're pushing your own thing. Like, I don't know from experience. I could only assume it might be a little bit faster of a process. But say you got sponsored by Winmore, Red Dragon, or Target, like things just move way slower than you would expect for good reason. Launch material has to get prepared and then spread to every distributor in the world. Like everyone has to work synergistically for like launch day. There's special content being made around it. Like all of it is just all so much more complicated and longer and more expensive than you would expect. So definitely like tone down the expectations there a bit of the turnaround and don't tease it ahead of time. Nick always jokes that he hates announcements of announcements, and like
Not a joke.
I hate teases. I hate teases because there is no point in getting someone super, super excited about something months ahead of time and they can't do anything about it. And they've almost lost the excitement. They get jaded and frustrated that the link isn't up, it's not available.
Oh, it's about time, finally.
Like limited edition stuff, like totally, like yes, there's always exceptions to the rule, but trust me, I know from history, from experience, there's a reason why A to Z doesn't take pre-orders on stuff. It is a nightmare in shipping, receiving, and with your website, the back end of it. Just the whole process of having to deal with that is really difficult. So don't tease things because you're just going to piss people off. And I know you're eager and I know you're excited, but wait and then do a huge rollout every single time.
Well, and how many people here have switched darts within the last 12 months? Now, can you commit to a prototype and then stay with it and then actually still throw that dart a year later plus the perpetual time of throwing? You better be pretty confident in your throw and everything else if you want to actually be using your own product, right? That's a great mentionable there. Price of tungsten means that darts are getting more expensive, which also means the value of these lower sponsorships are becoming less of a thing. I remember there used to be this local barrel maker, and they didn't actually sponsor anybody, but there was about 5 sets, and it was called Born Darts. It's a local operation that happened. Oh, did I lose you, Jen?
Oh, I'm still here. I can hear you, but
oh, you were just permanently eyes closed. I put you to sleep. There we go. We got her back. I put Jen down to sleep. They sold like 5 sets locally of darts, and at the time it was like supporting local business tax. I was like, $60, that's a lot of money. You're looking at a lot of sets going over $100 now consistently. And I'm sorry, but if I'm paying over $100 a set, I'm not buying Joe Schmo down the road darts. I'm gonna go get a set of darts that has the pixel grip, that has nice milling, that has cool patterns, that has iridescence, that has a big name attached to it with custom flights. I'm not going to go for a copy and paste with some slight variation, right? That's just personal taste. I'm a collector. I literally own over 30 sets of darts just in my own personal collection, not counting all the sets I've given away over the years as well to new players and whatnot. I can tell you it's a bad time in that sense, but yes, you sign the deal, you wait to 12 months, you get your barrels in your hand. Now, again, you shouldn't be having to sell and push your own barrels. But I also will say making engaging content that builds awareness is important. That does not mean consistently resharing the same picture and link to the website. You can do that every now and again. That's fine to do that. I mean, but you notice like Michael Maloney posted the other day with his kid holding the barrels, and that got 500
Mm-hmm.
plus likes rather than just
Yep.
a generic one more ad.
So
That's the type of
simple.
stuff that does so much better. We make jokes about it, but me going and making that over the top video is absolutely why that sale had any chance of being successful. It wasn't because of the picture, it wasn't because of anything else. That alone made the big difference, right? So going there and consistently making engaging, I tell people all the time, if you're not going and bringing an extra set of your barrels to an event to let people that like ask you about your barrels, just go and throw them for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to sell them, and you should not sell at an event if there's a vendor there. By the way, don't do that. That's taboo. But let people go and try and build awareness of your product and let people fall in love with it if you truly believe in it. That's okay. I always yell at Will, I'm like, just carry an extra set and let people go play with them for a little bit and say, oh,
Sure.
anybody that makes a joke about how your barrels don't sell as well as should, say, go try them for a bit and tell me if you think they should. Like, that's all you got to do. And then after that, believe in your product and consistently try to improve your own game from it. Your job is to promote yourself, not your product, but it is okay to raise awareness for your product in ways that are meaningful and not repetitive.
Thank you for clarifying. Just so everyone understands, like there's absolutely nothing wrong with carrying a bunch of postcards that directly link people to where they can buy it on what website. Like, and you're out there and you're pushing your own barrel. That's amazing. If it makes sense in the process of like sponsors should be the one hosting products and distributing it to the people is all I'm saying. It's a totally different story if you have to wholesale purchase your own barrel and go out there and do the work and hand deliver. Like, to me, that is just absolutely insane. Why on earth weren't you just custom making your own merchandise then and keeping 100% of the profit if you wanted to be a little like flipper, like, if you wanted to just do a hustle? It just doesn't, it's absolutely insane to me. You are being taken advantage of at that point. And like I said, the interest in that barrel is going to dry up quickly, and then you're just going to be left with kind of a jaded relationship that's going nowhere. So what you want is to develop a long-term relationship where both the sponsor and the player are putting in effort to develop excitement and clout around the product that is being sold by the manufacturer who's putting it into distributors' hands, not your hands. It's cool if they give you some kind of a clause where you can do that if you want to. Like, say you wanted to take a bunch of pre-orders and like dump them in one wholesale sitting. But to have that be the only way you can turn a profit off it is just like insane to me.
Yeah, it should not be the case. At the end of the day, it's about setting the best practices as we continue to grow the scene. And Jen and I always will have this point of view of, okay, well, what's best for the industry? And that's not how every player should or has to think. That's okay to just be like, well, I'm just a girly that throws darts. Okay. Totally
Mhm.
real. Totally get it. But at the end of the day, if you're not enabling these companies to make these deals and you're putting yourself at a higher standard, it will cause a ripple effect of positivity for other players that aren't just yourself. So I would just take a moment to think about that, because one day you might be good enough where like, and you see players that are getting new opportunities that didn't exist. Nailani getting a one more deal, right? I mean, a youth player, well-deserving youth player, getting an actual meaningful contract, and she's going to have that. And guess what? Maybe in 3 to 5 years, she might even move on to a bigger, different company that we don't even know of. Who possibly knows? Maybe she renegotiates and gets an even better deal with one more. Maybe she has the most amazing deal right now. But these opportunities are starting to pop up here. And when we try to make sure to reward meaningful opportunities and support good business practices, it will make a better environment for everybody to become better pros with more money and proper investment in the space.
You nailed it, Nick. Good job. And
The
that's
pointed
everything you need to
questions,
know about
that's
dart
it.
sponsorships.
That's it. And if you're thinking, man, were you guys talking about this company? We probably were.
I'm not I'm not here to talk trash. I'm genuinely just here to like educate. I wrote a very lengthy blog about every aspect of dart sponsorship. If you want to go read it, a2zdarts.com, go to the blog. It's called Dart Sponsorship. What is it and how to obtain it? And it talks about how it's not that deep, as Nick always says, and then just goes into the breakdown of like all the different categories. And typically you get barrel less. It's the hardest to obtain. It's the hardest. It's the most important decision you'll make. It's the biggest effect on your performance. Like I said, like 90% of my whole setup, I care about the barrel. Everything else is interchangeable to me and I can tweak, no problem, on the fly. The barrel matters so much, so give it some love. Put some thought into it.
And I do mean it. I am here to be mean. Just for the record. No. Exactly. And guys, guess what? Pointed Questions episode 3. That is a wrap. We somehow have made it through this show. It's bi-weekly, and I appreciate you guys consistently tuning in. We saw so many more people tune in last week, probably because we talked about pizza a little bit less. And I hope that you guys continue to show love and support, because in 12 months, on April 21st, 2027, the Nick DeShera Colonial Barrels will finally be hitting the market. I'm so excited, guys. All because you guys have been supporting us here at Pointed Questions. Jen, it has been another great episode. Lots of fun and some terrible movies, hasn't it?
You know what? We're not friends anymore. I still can't believe you don't like Sister
We're
Act.
best friends.
The podcast is over. I'm ending it. I'm quitting the band. Maybe I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Can we just have someone sub in for me, and I'm not going to tell you who I picked to be me, and you're just going to have to interact with them the entire 2 hours.
Love it. They'll be better than you because they'll like Sister Act. That's my only prerequisite.
Well, in case this is my last episode, you can follow me on Nick D Does Things, the best viewing experience over on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook as well. Jen Mounts starts over on YouTube, and Jen Mounts over on Facebook. Pointed Questions every other Tuesday, solving life and darts biggest problems. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye, Sister Acts. Bye, sisters.